Good morning and thanks for joining us for the last edition of the week Prime Flash on My Media Prime Television. Grief could be seen on the faces of fans and supporters of the indomitable Lions of Cameroon following their failure to qualify for the final of the AFCON 2021. The semi-final of the match, which took place yesterday at the Olembe Stadium, saw the Pharaohs of Egypt winning the indomitable Lions 3-1 during the penalty kick. Egypt will thus be competing against the Teranga Lions on February 6, 2022 for the finals of this AFCON 2021. And the ranking match for the third place, originally scheduled for Sunday, February 6 at 5 p.m. at the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium, will finally be played on Saturday, February 5, 2022 at 8 p.m. in Fandena at the request of Cameroon. Some 7 contraband vehicles moving to Yaoundé have been seized by custom elements in Ngaoundéré. The seized vehicles had fraudulently entered the national territory with Chadian license plates. The drivers, who had no custom clearance documents, are said to have confessed, and research conducted via the Cosmo application confirmed the fraud. The operation was successfully carried out with the collaboration of the North Customs Sector and Zone 3 of Operation Al-Komi. Every first Friday of February is commemorated as Bilingualism Day in Cameroon. The decree was put in place under the Musonge's Commission in 2017. Details with our correspondent in Yaoundé, Colette Lum.
Government of Cameroon, in order to promote the notion of bilingualism, on March 15, 2017, officials of the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism were appointed through 3 presidential decrees. It should be recalled the Commission for Bilingualism and Multiculturalism was under the auspices of former Prime Minister Peter Mafani Musonge, who became the pioneer president of the commission.
The obligation that all signboards in Cameroon must be written in English and French. All official documents coming from physics must be in English and French. All examination, national examination written in Cameroon must also be in English and French. This was in accordance with decree number 2017/13, January 2017, creating the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism in Cameroon, under the chairmanship of the ex-Prime Minister Mafani Musonge.
Meanwhile, by putting the Commission of Bilingualism in place, the Commission members were expected to implement measures by which bilingualism should be instituted in Cameroon in all walks of life and in all places, and by every Cameroonian.
The law is saying that in court, you can speak in any language that you know more better. And for this reason, the government is totally anti-bilingualism.
Proficiency of many languages provides a great chance for better job opportunities. Bilingual people can get good paying jobs and even more openings because people with language skills are in high demand. Some youths are of the know of the imperative of being bilingual. Meanwhile, others do not care. It is against this backdrop that there is dire need for youth to be bilingual.
There are difficulties of racism and the rest, but now it is being overcome with the fact that bilingualism in our country is now being respected by each and every Cameroonian. That each and every Cameroonian today has a right and it's a must to speak with both English and French, so that when you go to any part of the country, people can express themselves both in English and in French.
Bilingualism is very important, especially in our country, Cameroon, because you can still meet people talking French and you must talk French. It is an imperative. It is very important to master all the 2 languages because you must not be lost. If you go to Bamenda, you must be able to speak English.
Whatever the case may be, it pays off to have a good mastery of both languages.
And in the same light of Bilingualism Day, Colette Lum went down to the streets of Yaoundé to find out how bilingual Cameroonians are. Her report.
Cameroon commemorates National Bilingualism Day today, first Friday of February. The $1 million question is if Cameroonians are bilingual. Since most often people will say Cameroon is a bilingual country, but majority of Cameroonians are not bilingual. The case here in Yaoundé, where someone work into a ministry or an office and say good morning, the response in French language will be, I do not understand your dialect. However, is this the same case with youth in Yaoundé?
Mon nom c'est... My name is la princesse. Aimer ta famille et tes amis parce qu'ils te supportent en difficulté. Love your family and your friends because they always support you in difficulties. Do not eat lot of sugar and do lot of exercise and sport to stay healthy. Ne mangez pas trop de sucre et faisez beaucoup de sport pour être en santé. Don't fight in class and be strong and ne bagarrez pas en classe.
Mon nom c'est Sunjo Rosmita. I want to express myself in both languages, which are French and English. Which we are having a bilingualism day this Friday. The COVID-19 everywhere, restez en sécurité. That is COVID-19 is real.
With these reactions in the capital city today on Bilingualism Day, city dwellers are highly optimistic a day will come when all youth in the central region and Cameroonians in general will be bilingual.
Amnesty International has called on President Paul Biya to reform laws used to criminalize protesters. It is contained in a two-page letter signed by some 27 Cameroonian and international organizations. Details with Fon Quinta.
In a two-page letter addressed to President of Cameroon Paul Biya, signed by 27 Cameroonian and international organizations, Amnesty International called on the president to reform laws used to criminalize protests and ensure the release of all arbitrarily detained because of acts of free expression and free assembly. In the letter dated Wednesday, February 2, 2022, Amnesty International condemned arbitrary arrest of Cameroonians who are still in jail at the time the country plays host to Africa's biggest continental jamboree, the AFCON. According to Amnesty International, over 100 people have been shut up in prison, most for over a year, some for over 5 years, while some face substantial sentences simply for exercising their human rights. They continued, while celebrations go on outside, these people are suffering inside crowded cells, counting months or years that they have already spent in prison, plus the months or years that await them. The international body also cited cases of Cameroonians who were arrested during protests in the country's crisis-hit Anglophone regions, in the likes of Pentherens, Vice Principal of CAS Bambali, T. Conrad, Mancho BBC, Samuel Wazizi, amongst others. They noted that the injustices and indignities faced by the people and many others have multiplied as months and years have passed, expressing their shock not only for individuals and injustices of their suffering, but also for the greater injustice that their arbitrary arrest represents, the fear anyone could be in prison just for speaking out. Interpreting Cameroon's draconian anti-terror law of 2014 as a means to criminalize even peaceful protest, Amnesty International urged President Paul Biya to reform these laws used to criminalize protest and public assembly and ensure that, as the AFCON celebrations die down, Cameroon should be made a place where people can truly celebrate. It should be recalled that in another report published by Amnesty International on January 24, 2022 about the armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, it stated, over the past 5 years, the human rights situation has grown increasingly bleak as people from Anglophone regions, including journalists, human rights defenders and supporters of political opposition, have been arrested and jailed for expressing their opinions.
The Cameroon's Minister of Mines, Industry and Technological Development, Gabriel Dodondoke, has signed a partnership between the State of Cameroon and the company La Belle Folie SA. The partnership agreement is aimed at the construction of an agro-industrial complex in the Ndé division of the West region of Cameroon. The project, estimated at 52 billion francs CFA, is intended to improve agricultural productivity, reduce importation of agricultural products, and establish an intelligent agricultural model. It will be developed in two municipalities and will include the cultivation of soya beans. And in the northwest region, inhabitants of Bamenda have been called upon to engage in the collection of garbage from their neighborhoods every Monday. The call was made recently by the Bamenda City Council Mayor, and a call which equally has received mixed feelings amongst inhabitants. Details with Dolingonde.
The Bamenda City Council has embarked on a move to involve city dwellers in the collection of garbage from neighborhoods of the town. The operation, which is due to start this February 7, 2022, happens to fall on a Monday amidst the challenges faced by the waste management company, with the French acronym ISACAM, in properly collecting waste in the municipality. The City Council Mayor, Paul Achombong, says the initiative is on the backdrop of a series of meetings with the various quarter heads of the Bamenda City Council area. According to him, the clean-up campaign will start effectively on Monday, February 7th, as from 7 a.m. prompt to midday, and all business places will remain closed.
When I will finish here, I will take appropriate action.
Mayor Paul Achombom says the campaign is coming at a time when many more cases of cholera are being reported in some parts of the country. The move, however, is seen by others as an attempt to get traders and shop owners out of their houses on Mondays, which have come to be known as ghost town days over the past years.
And I go give you an assurance, say within the shortest possible time, I will come out with a communique which will help bring an end to this crisis.
It should be noted that all other moves made by government officials, including threats, have proven futile to get shopkeepers and entrepreneurs effectively run their businesses in the town on Mondays due to the gun battles rocking the region.
Vina division of Ngaoundéré continues to experience a series of abduction with demands for ransom. The SDO of the division, Yves Bertrand Awoufak, addressed the situation in a two-day meeting recently aimed at maintaining order. Catherine Ekongwe.
This important meeting saw the effective participation of 8 divisional officers, judicial authorities, high military and security officials of the Vina division. The following discussion graced this session, that is, putting in place and the establishment of the procedures for the designation of chiefs and their roles in national matters and illicit sales of land. To put an end to such an incident that has gone beyond control, the sub-divisional officer calls on the chiefs to set up lay-down procedures for the sales of lands, since it has to do with public avenues or privately owned lands.
Surtout, le thème débattu de l'assise fait intervenir le rôle des chefs traditionnels.
The theme that was raised bring in the role of the traditional chief and their involvement in administrative duties. And with this, we are so delighted because there are a lot of agro-pastoral conflicts and other problems that chiefs do face daily based on their duties. Most of the chiefs are ignorant of their duties. So this session has come to educate and enlighten us on our roles.
Maintenant, l'État nous a appelés aujourd'hui pour venir nous enseigner.
With all observation being done, the sub-divisional officer seized the opportunity to announce to all authorities concerned to redouble their efforts and be more vigilant in order to ensure peace and security both in the day and at night.
En ce qui concerne la sécurité,
As far as security is concerned, we have put in diverse strategies to lay hold on all the robbers who cause civil unrest within our division, and for the dysfunctioning of certain operations to assist the population in handling issues that come up. Measures are put in place to ensure that appropriate quarters are prepared to attend to our population.
Puissent effectivement bénéficier, n'est-ce pas, de l'attention dont elles sont dues.
Yves Bertrand also reminded his collaborators to set up peace and security of the population, which constitutes the main focus in which the government will not cease to invest in.
Cameroon's Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manauda Malachi, has lashed out against imposters using the name of some staff of the ministry to scam the public. In a press release, the minister voiced concerns that the public should guard against any form of exploitation that the imposters and scammers may use. He is thus calling for vigilance to ward off the wrongdoers. And out of the country, rescue workers in northern Morocco are reportedly digging for a third straight day to reach a 5-year-old boy trapped down a 32-meter deep well. According to reports, the boy Ryan accidentally fell in the well on Tuesday in a village near the town of Baberd. A huge number of rescue units are currently on the site to get the child out. On our following report, we are focusing on the series of military takeovers in African countries between 2021 and 2022. Join Gong revisits some key coups.
Since the 1950s, Africa has witnessed over 200 coup attempts. These are illegal and overt attempts by the military or civilian officials to overthrow sitting leaders. About half of these have been successful, defined as lasting more than 7 days. This year, 2022, has already seen two: a takeover by the army in Burkina Faso and the other, a failed coup attempt in Guinea-Bissau. 2021 in particular witnessed a higher number of coups in Africa compared with previous years. Burkina Faso has had the most successful coups in history, with 8 takeovers and only 1 failed attempt. Sudan, on its part, has had the most coups and attempted takeovers, amounting to 17, 6 of them successful. Nigeria's reputation for military coups goes way back to the years following its independence, with 8 between 1966 and 1993. Burundi's history has recorded 11 coups. Sierra Leone experienced 3 coups between 1967 and 1968 and another one in 1971. Between 1992 and 1997, the country experienced 5 further coup attempts. Ghana is not left out in the history of military coups, with 8 in 2 decades. In April last year, after the death of Chadian leader Idriss Deby, the army installed his son as interim president, leading a transitional military council. There were other successful coups the same year in Mali and Guinea and Sudan, and a failed military takeover in Niger. Globally, Africa has experienced more coups than any other continent. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres in September last year said that military coups are back and blamed a lack of unity amongst the international community in response to military interventions.
With this report, we close the curtains of today's edition of Prime Flash, produced by Junior Pelama. Thanks for watching. You have more news stories on our 3:30 p.m. Prime Info with Gladys Bomotongina and our 6:30 p.m. Prime News with Quinta. Coming up next is In the House with Eileen Sama and her ladies. Have a nice time.